Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. It's time for Moon Shadows, and I'm here with my one and only Ona. Hello, Ona.
Hello, hello, hello.
How are you doing on this lovely day, Ona?
I'm good. It was a really, really hot day today. It was just boiling, and then it rained, and then the sun came out. So just all the steam is just in the air.
Yeah. Don't you love it? No.
You know, I have less of a tolerance for heat than I used to.
Yeah, welcome to menopause. I really
Right. It's the wisdom. It's the wisdom.
all that wisdom in our bodies keeps us hot. And not well adjusted.
Right. It's the wisdom points that are doing it. I'm not kidding. It's just I can't even tell her. And the person that came to replace me today at the greenhouse was the same way. She's like, oh, I gotta do something about this. It's like walking into a hot fan.
Yes. Yeah.
The greenhouse has a weird airflow dynamic, and it's just hot air.
And you're surrounded by tar, right? Like blacktop. Yeah, see, that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, I just go to the grocery store and walk across the black tar, and I'm like, why do we even put this stuff down? It's crazy. It's such a difference. And then I'll go in the yard and I'll just walk, in the back where it's very leafy, and it's a whole different experience. It's like I can tolerate it if I'm in my yard, but I can't tolerate it if I'm anywhere else. So
no, it's gotten much more intense, and we talked about how the sun just has hit it. It feels like searing.
Yes, absolutely. I felt that this morning.
Yeah.
So in the 4 minutes it took me to do my video, and the sun just came up over the trees, I'm like, oh my God, it's so. I feel like it's like you're in a frying pan, and we don't even have it that bad. I mean, these poor people down in the southern part of the United States, it's Phoenix and Texas, it's so hot. And I guess even Florida too is I might be under a heat advisory now.
Really? Yeah, it's isolative. You can't really survive outside of a cooling unit. So it's like being snowbound. You're kind of stuck in your house.
Right. If you're lucky to have a house.
Yeah.
If you're lucky to have a house. I mean, I think about all these poor people who are homeless, or the people down at the border who are waiting to, I don't know. It's just, I don't know. It's hard to like even pay attention sometimes to what's going on in the outer world, because it's just so overwhelming. There's so much need, and people are just not paying attention to the important stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that of course that's a generalization that's probably not completely true, because you and I are paying attention to the important stuff, and the people who watch this pay attention to the important stuff. So it is, I guess, when you watch the media shows you what they want to show you, but it really isn't very good news for the most part,
No.
So this new moon in Cancer is pretty potent. We have actually on the day of the new moon, we also have a square between Jupiter and Mercury.
Yeah.
And then we have the nodes shifting, and the nodes are the nodes of the moon, and the moon is ruled, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So it's I think a really intense emotional time anyway.
Yeah.
And of course, the question of home comes up with Cancer. Where do I want to live? Do I want to stay here? Do I want to move on? Is there a better place for me? There's a lot of that sort of shifting, like the shifting sand, so to speak.
Right. right.
Such are the days of our lives. Sorry.
And that's how I came to all of this. Truly, maybe came to the decision to sell my house because I'm using too many resources
Yeah,
for, two people and a dog, or one person and one dog and a cat, and it's too much.
right,
I don't need this much.
right.
Right? So, yeah, and it is truly about what makes you feel comfortable.
So, have you had any smells or?
Yeah, honestly, the last thing that I wrote down was very sort of Uranian kind of smell and we had a tornado a couple of days, and it was a chemical smell. And I thought, well, maybe the wind, because across the street is an auto body place, and some of the spray, the spray paint, you can smell it. But it's something I tasted too, and it was different than that. And then we had a tornado the next day. So I have only, when I concentrate or think about this, it's got like filaments. There's something holographic about this Cancer moon that I have to really get into and think about, and it's got like a dusty kind of a feeling to it.
Right, right. Well, there's so much particulate in the air to begin with.
Yeah,
Between the fires, and then just the atmosphere is just,
like a dust sandwich. A little bit, I wish I had, I've got jasmine blooming and stuff, and I wish some things had a really, really sweet smell, or something that had, and it does usually have a significance to it. This one has got like, it needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be cleaned up. That's what it feels like to me. It smells like.
How about any crystals? You
Fluorites.
right.
We know water's a resource that has been challenging us in ways of flooding,
Yeah,
and or not having any,
right.
right? Or
Feast or
landfall.
famine, as it were.
Yeah, yeah.
Too much and not enough.
And moonstone, it's got to be. I have regular moonstone and peach moonstone, because Cancer moon rules Cancer, right? Moonstone. So at least these I'll be able to have with me. I'm working all weekend, so we'll see. But these are good size to carry, and when things come up, they'll come up.
Yeah, yeah. I of course have would put moonstone, I think, and selenite
Yeah.
is another good one to have. Even maybe kyanite, like a blue kyanite.
Oh, okay.
It is a crystal that you don't have to cleanse. It's self-cleaning.
Yeah.
It's like a self-cleaning oven, only it's a self-cleaning crystal.
And I think it's one that can break down in a water environment too, right?
No, I don't think kyanite breaks down.
No.
Anhydrite or something. There is a crystal that you can't put in water.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about selenite. Selenite might be
Selenite, you're not supposed to, but
No.
honestly, I have a piece in my plant that I stick incense in. It's got a little, and it hasn't degraded or broken down any measurable way for a long time. So it's not supposed to be. It can fracture maybe easier, but it's really soft anyway. It's really,
yeah. Those caves in Mexico with those giant crystals, those are selenite. Those
wow.
are selenite crystals, yeah. Pretty cool, right? Magical. Can't go in there though, it'll kill you. It's like 106 degrees or something.
Oh
The
my God.
humidity is like 100%. It's like you can't even.
Yeah. It feels kind of like this.
Feels like, yes, today. Feels like Texas.
Yeah, definitely changes, and that is like, I know you mentioned that it the weather is kind of a manifestation of
Our emotions.
the emotional body of
Yes.
demographic, right?
Yep. Yeah. Well, I mean, we're not, people think you're separate from the earth, but you're not. Your body is made of the stuff of the earth, and it's going to respond just like the earth is responding. So, that's why the body is a great barometer for how well are you really doing, and you kind of have to pay attention to that. Cancer really is about nurturance, and as a Cancer myself, a lot of my maniacal nurturing that I'm famous for is really just asking to be nurtured myself, right? I take care of people so that I'll on some level be taken care of.
Yeah,
Not as like a tit for tat thing, but this feeling of, if I can put my best self out there, then
yeah,
that's what I'll get back. I'll
yeah,
get back somebody else's best stuff. And we were actually just talking about that as far as career, and how you've noticed that people aren't really trying. They don't really, their heart's not in it. And when your heart's not in it, it's really hard to be effective.
yeah.
And so I think it's real important to figure out where your heart lies in all of this.
It is. It really is. And I think people are becoming more aware of that sooner. I think we used to fall into a career path and think, well, this is stable and this is where I'm going to continue, whether I like it or not. But now people are learning sooner that this may or may not be a fit.
Right.
It seems like that, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You should love what you do.
Do what you love and love what you do, and you
Yeah,
never work a day in your life.
yeah.
Yeah.
And with Mars just traveling into Virgo, it's a good time to know what it is that you love to do to service
Yes.
other people.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? Even if it's like sharing a recipe or, something. What is
Something.
it that, yeah.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the chart. Yeah.
That's a
Um,
2 hours in Virgo thing kind of thing, share a recipe, right?
I'm all for that. I'm all for that. Okay, let me now things are gonna look a little weird here, but so what else is new? Okay, let's just oops. It's always the same with me. I can never just figure it out right from the get-go here. Come on now, slideshow. All right, here we go. Need some big. So the new moon in Cancer. Um, the new moon is at 25 degrees of Cancer. This new moon is, well, there's a lot going on here. It is sextile Uranus, square Eris, square the nodes of the moon. What do I have here? Conjunct the
US Mercury.
United States Mercury. It's also opposing Pluto and trining Neptune.
Yes.
So we have all 4 of the transpersonal planets affecting this Cancer moon and Cancer sun moon,
Squaring the nodes.
squaring its own nodes.
Mm-hmm.
Because the nodes that we speak of, what are these nodes you speak of? It's the nodes of the moon. And we have now, at the time of the new moon, the nodes are still in Scorpio and Taurus, but you can see they're at 0, right? Like just a little while later in the day, the nodes shift into Aries, North Node, and South Node in Libra. And of course, we have the new moon squaring it and Pluto squaring it. In fact, next week, Pluto will be squaring the nodes of the moon exactly 3 times, which is unusual. It usually only happens once, but it has something to do with the way things are, the speed and this, that, and the other thing. And so there's this constant application of Pluto, which is the collective, it's our collective soul. It's like, what is our soul asking us to do? And of course, the new moon is opposite, right? So these oppositions, it's a point of, it's not really a time to take an action, but it's a time to like really just observe where everything's at. So then you can take the actions that you need to take, because now with the North Node in a Mars ruled sign, Aries,
Yeah.
it kind of is about action.
Well, if it's gonna square, if Pluto's gonna square the nodes 3 times, then you have 2 other chances basically to take action, right?
Well, it's going to be squaring the nodes, I think, until November. So it's exact, but it's going to continue to square the nodes through this period. And it's actually been squaring the nodes, I think, and I need to look this up, but at least 6 months already. Like, it feels like Pluto's been square the nodes. It's going to go on a year. And the resolution node, which is the direction, like, which way do I go? Do I look to the past? Do I move into the future? Which way do I go? The resolution is the South Node, which is the past, and it's in Libra. And so we have to review our relationships. And of course, Pluto and Capricorn, our relationship to power. Do we feel empowered? Do we feel disempowered?
Yeah.
How can we relate in a different way? Or how do we know how to relate. That's all we've ever done. What works and what doesn't work, and what do you need to let go of, and what do you need to and it's really about when the North Node was in Taurus, which as we sit here it still is, and the ruler was Venus. Venus in Taurus is very personal. What's important to you? What is it that is essential in your life? What are your essential needs? What are your values, right? What is it that you need to survive? Those are all Venus in Taurus questions. Venus in Libra is a whole different energy, because it's about relating to the other. And it's not about, what do I need to survive? It's just, what do I need to look at so I can actually actuate myself with the North Node in Aries. And of course, the ruler of the Aries North Node is going to be Mars, and Mars starts this whole thing in Virgo, which is about service. So really, by figuring out how you give away your power in relationships and yet still be in service is I think one of the juggling act, or part of the juggling act, that we're gonna have to work with.
Yeah.
So what's your sense about it? I mean, what is it when you see this? What is it that comes to you? Or...
I feel like there's a lot of disruption in this, not just like the configuration, but just all this with the nodes shifting right at that same time, giving it even more power, right? That it's just disruptive in terms of like bouncing out of whatever state you're applying yourself towards. Like if I'm feeling angry, it's easier to disrupt me or bounce out of that. Or
absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. That's part of the Libra thing. Libra is all about projection. So if you're feeling something and something comes at you, you have to look at yourself. Like, why am I attracting this energy? Why am I vibrating in this way? And if you don't want that energy in your life, you have to stop vibrating at that energy. And so that's
Right.
part of, you know, we can blame our lives on all kinds of people, but ultimately it's our responsibility, and it's our actions that determine, and our reactions that determine what kind of life we live.
Yeah,
And a lot of that, and that's really what Aries is all about. It's about reacting to a situation. Like Aries is very like, what's the situation now? Take an action.
yeah,
Take an action. And it has to be, and of course with the cardinal, like this giant cardinal cross in here, right? It's about initiation. It's about it's cardinal, so it's about starting something new. So this is a natural time to start something new, even though it can feel so overwhelming. Like there's so much going on. What is it that we need to do, be, have, say,
yeah,
you know, that kind of energy. It's interesting because if you look at the Sabian symbol for this, for 25 of Cancer, it says a willful man is overshadowed by a descent of superior power. The response of spiritual forces to the integration of personality through positive willful endeavors. We are dealing here with a man who uses his will and positive imagination in facing his life problems. To him comes a Pentecostal descent of power. He receives the mantle of power, the grace, or providential assistance, which can make him a true leader in his culture. In this symbol, we witness a more transcendent expression of success. It is not merely external success as given by society to its prima donnas, but a spiritual response, a sign of inner strength and uncommon endowment. So it's really about like the Holy Spirit coming in, right? It's like this Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is you. It's
mhm,
your spirit. It's the part of you that's still, that's, you know, it's manifested, but we're not aware of that manifestation. We're not always aware of our higher self, or higher. And with all this transpersonal energy, especially with the sextile to Uranus and Taurus, telling, you know, giving us information, sextiles open the lines of communication, you know. And so we have to communicate with our own higher selves here, because the answers are there and the possibilities are myriad. And
yeah.
it may take a while for us to actually focus on what it is exactly that our next step might be.
Because I think the focus is coming from a different area. If you're focusing from the heart chakra, this is all the heart, solar plexus, and sacral portal,
Yeah,
right? So if you're thinking from your heart, which you can do, which makes sense to me, that it's easier to jump into a better response, a quicker response.
and of course, Venus, the planet of love, is in the sign of love, in Leo,
Yeah,
right? And
fire,
it's in fire, creative self-expression, and
lots.
it's about to go. It's very, very slow now because it's about to go retrograde, and it's going to be retrograde for 42 days. And so we will have time to really examine our own hearts with this stuff. What's really in our heart?
Yeah,
What do we really want to say? Do we love ourselves enough? Do we not, or do we love ourselves too much? It could always be that,
right.
you know. And usually that comes from a place of insecurity, because people who truly love themselves don't need external validation. And that's what narcissists all need. They just need constant external validation.
Right.
It's all within us.
Exactly. I reached in my pocket because one of my bracelets broke today, and it was the yellow jade. I have all the pieces like still in my pocket. I picked up as much as I can in the string that I came off of too. And I was thinking about that and I thought, well, that's like, could be like the perfect Cancer, new moon in Cancer kind of thing. But it was more, to me, it was more about don't strip yourself of any joy ever. That color to me is a joy color. Too much of it is like overload. It's like a grief kind of color to me. But and I put a bunch of plants out today. I don't know if it's related to the moon or not, but a lot of them were yellow. And
I've been very attracted to yellow.
have you?
Yes, very attracted to yellow. Yep. Yep.
It's something, it would be a good thing to focus on. And sometimes I think, well, there's too much of a connection between the sulfury kind of moon that just happened and now this yellow that's, I'm picking it up off the ground, all these beads, this jade, that might be truly the thing that brings you clarity.
Yeah, yellow can be clarity, yellow can be joy.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to restring your joy.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the thing is, I don't know. It's interesting.
So this is a very, very potent and powerful time for all of us. And I think we need to really not forget to take care of ourselves through this process. We need to be kind to ourselves. We can't push ourselves too hard. I mean, certainly if you're, living in Phoenix, you can't even go outside really. So I mean, we have to be very, we're shifting, we're changing. There's a lot of mass coronal ejections happening. It's a high sun time, sun cycles, sunspots, all that stuff. And that those ejections can go in any direction, but they seem to be shooting at us all the time. And one of my teachers from the Wayback Machine says when you have these cycles, it's more souls coming onto the planet.
Interesting.
Yeah, coming into the atmosphere to be manifested. So we're losing a lot of souls too now, with everything that
Nodal, yeah, I think the nodal shift is one of those gateways that, right?
Yeah.
It's always involvement there that people kind of move through. And certainly this Pluto squaring or opposite the new moon, I mean, it looks like a portal to me.
Well, in a way, it started back in 2008 when Pluto went into Capricorn. Now Pluto is going to be leaving Capricorn. It's only going to be in Capricorn until January. And then for a small period of time at the end of 2024, it's going to be in the last degree of Capricorn. And then it's done. And it's not going to be in Capricorn for another 200 odd years, right? And we're going to have 20 years of Aquarius, which sounds good to us because, we have all this Capricorn, like everything's collapsing around us. And well, we get to Aquarius, but Aquarius has got its own challenges. We have to through this whole period, we have to stay connected to our heart.
Yeah.
It's very easy to get in your head with Aquarius.
Yeah. The Capricorn energy is very heavy. There's a heaviness to it. It's winter, it's coins, it's the devil,
It's responsibility. It's a heavy
it's so much
duty, responsibility.
And
right?
Aquarius you're the higher mind. So get ready for it.
I sent you, I know you've been very busy, but I sent you something about somebody who has this thing that they put on plants.
Yes.
And did you see that? And it takes the vibration of the plant and it changes it into music.
Yes. there's somebody on YouTube that does that with mushrooms on a synthesizer.
Yeah,
And
it's just,
they just make these mushroom noises, and it kind of makes sense. You're like, yep, that's what they sound like. This app, or I don't know if it's an app or a tool, it matches songs to the frequency of the leaf. So the color, the texture, the moisture level,
right.
then it comes up with a note or a song that generates that note, which is really kind of cool. I like the songs, and it's not like the mushroom talking, which is
That's
funny.
that's a whole nother video, I think. The mushroom the talking mushrooms. We're gonna have to do a talking mushroom video, I think.
Yes.
But we might have to be in the same room for that one.
They sound so funny. They sound so funny. And it's a genuine living organism attached to a very, very sensitive sensor that generates sound. So it makes sense. We know we can do that.
Do you have any oracle cards handy? You want to pull an oracle card
Which
for
ones
this
you
new
want?
one?
Which,
I'll let you pick. I'll let you pick. I have a favorite, but I'll let you pick.
well, we can do, this would be a good new moon for that deck. For the sightseer, for the I can't remember the name of it, Starseed.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
I was sending it psychically to you. You picked
Yes.
right up on it.
Because this Cancer moon needs nice words. Right? It'll behave nicely for you if you're kind to it. And I think that's a good deck, because we won't have maybe some of that disruptive stuff I'm picking up on. But I think that disruption might be just some of the stuff that's happening today in the Gemini moon.
Could be, yeah.
You know, with Virgo, with Mercury's new placement and things being kind of wacky.
Mercury's in Leo now, right? I
Yes.
think, yeah.
Yes. And wacky is, there's got to be a star wacky out there. It's got to be close to this new moon.
Yeah, I don't know. I should have checked that. I don't know my wacky stores.
I don't know, but it's interesting how some of those, the asteroids and some of those other things, interesting.
What'd you get?
Karmic relationships. There's your South Node in Libra,
There
right?
you go.
Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, and conflict.
Yep, that sounds about right. Wow.
It's sun and moon conjunct. New moon, one's on one. There's the polarity.
Yep.
The feminine energies on one side, the masculine energies. Oh, they're both. This is really cool. Error. Interesting. Water and earth. Interesting. What'd you get? What did you get?
I picked 3 cards from the spellcasters. I got the 3 of Pentacles.
Okay.
Okay, so it's about working, learning from each other, working together, people who are really good at what they do. And then I got the Page of Cups. And there's 3 people here having a blast, drink up. So hydrate yourself.
Yeah, I think that's a great thing, because the Cancer moon, it's water. Sun and moon are water together. Like, yeah, stay hydrated for sure. Those boys look like they were.
Yeah. And the Magician, as above, so below. As above, so below. So it's about focused intention. it's about concentrating on the things that you're good at, but that you enjoy. The things that you're good at that you want to share with others, because it's barely work.
Yeah.
Um,
Interesting.
yeah. And then do it. Just do it. Do what you love. Love what you do. Do what you love. Love what you do. And let the universe fill in the spaces for you. You know, as much as we like to have a plan, I'm not sure plans work. Honestly, I think focused intention works, but us figuring out what the plan is, I just feel like the universe, if you just like point in the direction, which I think the Aries, the North Node in Aries is going to be, point in the direction and let the universe fill in the spaces. How you're going to get there, what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Put the intention out.
I have to look at when was the last time Aries and Libra had a party on the nodes. When would that be? Because they're there a year and a half.
Well, the nodes come back around every 19 years, right? So if you half that, you would have had the nodes in the opposite. So it depends on whether you're talking about a nodal return. So 19 years ago was
2004.
Yeah. And that's also connected to, we also have to connect the Venus retrograde cycle. The last time Venus was retrograde in Leo was 2015.
Okay.
That started the cycle, right? And now 8 years later, we're at the same place, and it shifts the whole culture, because Venus is culture.
Yeah.
Venus isn't just relationship, but it's society. It's how does society, we talked about that. We talk about how people are having a hard time like just relating to other people. It's like everything is so like, it's like nails on a chalkboard. I mean, it's just so, and we have to find a way to change that. We need to, and in part it's an internal, you know, it's us, because if you're not vibrating to that discordia, that's why you have to watch what you ingest, either food wise, media wise, all those things. You need to, it's okay to, if you want to check it out and look in this, but if you get pulled into it, it's just gonna not take you to a place you want to be. You really have to be particular. And I think that's the discernment of Mars in Virgo, starting this whole process, is to discern where you want to put your energy. Where's it gonna do the most good?
Clarity. Yellow. That'll offer some clarity.
Yep.
Yeah, I like that. Very powerful new moon. And the more we talk about it, the more minty it is. So I don't know, did you have some mint in your sandwich or something you drank today? Because the minty thing is coming in. Maybe it is a mint moon.
Minty moon.
And I don't have any here. I have cinnamon.
Well, that's Venus.
That's Venus. She's all over the balcony because apparently the pigeons don't like cinnamon.
Oh.
I said, okay, here it comes.
Oh.
They stayed away, so we'll see.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you again, Ona. I look forward to this every month.
Yeah.
And I look forward to your moonshine, which is going to be a full moon in Aquarius, probably, right? No? Or is it Capricorn? I should know.
11, Aquarius.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Yeah. That's
going
gonna be interesting. I know. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I love talking to you about this stuff. It just makes me sink right in.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why we do it, because astrology is, it's just a fantastic tool
Yeah.
to understand the energies, to understand yourself, and to help you see, like, the nice thing about astrology is nothing lasts forever.
Yes. Yes. You
It's
know,
always moving. We're always moving.
yes. Exactly.
All right, guys. You guys make sure hydrate yourself, stay cool where it's warm, stay warm where it's cool. Help people who, if you can help somebody who needs help, do it. If you need help, ask. We're here for each other. Always, always, always. I love you, Ona. I love you guys.
Mhm.
And we'll see you next time on Ona's channel for Moonshine. Take care, everyone. Namaste.